Hey y'all, it's Brandon. So, as you can see, I've been working on the truck already. I had all this video. And I was working on this and the antenna video at the same time. And I deleted all of this. And I've done quite a bit of work already. I'm on the buttoning up stage. So this will be a real short video. So let me spin you around here and I'll explain what I've done. All right, so I'm putting in bump stops. You can see these Ruff Stuff Specialty bump stops. I just got them wedged in there so I can see how much they squish and how far I need to stay away from my brake lines. I probably shouldn't have mounted those there, but I did. So you can see here that I've trimmed off this much. I trimmed this much off of this little bump stop extension or whatever from the factory. So say if you lowered a Suburban or a Tahoe, you could actually cut this off and gain about an inch worth of up travel. And I guess maybe if you had a long travel truck, you could do the same thing. But the reason why I did this was this piece had a bend to it that matched the frame here, and the bump stop is flat. So, and another thing, I can drill a hole in it here and I can stick a wrench in here and tighten it up. So to get to this point, put it on jack stands, pulled the wheels and tires off of it, unbolted the lower shock mount because I'm using my shocks as limiting straps. I know, not supposed to, but I am. I also drooped the axle out and pulled the springs out of it. That way I can jack the axle up all the way to bump stop, or all the way as high as it'll go, and I can see where I need to mount the bump stops. Did the same thing on this side. I got them where they need to be. So here's a little sneak peek of my next project. So unfortunately, this is as far bump as I can go right now. The measurement is 2.5 inches from the bump stop pad on the axle to the, well, here, let me take this tire off and I'll show you. Okay, so you can see it's stuffed pretty good in here. It's only, I think it's a little less than 2.5 inches. Let's see here. So sitting on the pad, 2 and 2 3/8. There's no way that those shocks are going to compress that far. So the bump should be, I'll have to measure that and see. I may actually end up having to put some blocks underneath it. The bump stops, put them down a little further. That way it doesn't come up as high. So there was plenty of space around the 33-inch tire at what this bump is. Eventually I'd like to go to 37s on the Suburban, and that's what I'm trying to build everything for. So if that works out, that'll be just about perfect. I want it really low on 37s. So Ruff Stuff doesn't show a compressed height of these bump stops. I'm going to assume that after these collapse, which is this, and this, should be about the collapsed height of the bump stop. So this is 1 inch, it's half inch, and 1 inch. So you add them together, it's 3 inches. So with this fully compressed, the actual bump should be 3 inches. So that'll put me perfect to where I need to be. Something I'm going to do later, not right now. I don't quite have the money for them, but I'm going to do some longer joints that are actually bushings instead of hime joints. And I believe they are barns. I believe they're barns bushings. The threads are longer on it. Sorry, I just realized something else is hidden. This upper arm is contacting my caliper bolts, so that's no good. So one thing I am going to do is extend these out about another inch. That way it slides the axle back another inch, or maybe further, and that should help center the axle underneath the truck. But I do have room to slide back at full bump. Yeah, that caliper bracket hitting's no good. This side here, it's at 3.5 inches with a wooden block. It's here at 3.5 inches, and you see it's not touching. So I may end up having to space the bump stop down. This was 2 3/8, and it's touching. So 3.5. If this 3-inch should work, as long as there's no more. Once these collapse, as long as there's no more up travel, or very minimal up travel, it should be fine. Okay, now I'm gonna start drilling holes and mounting bump stops. All right, so actually I got this one on, and there's actually enough space in there that I can put my ratchet and wrench in there and get it back out. The way it sits to be square with the axle and the bump pad here, it is not square with the frame. It looks a little goofy, but it's contacting all the way across pretty much, so I'm not too concerned about it. One thing I will tell you is these do not take any side pressure. I'm afraid they're junk. They're gonna break off the first time I actually use it. And for 60 daggum bucks, they shouldn't do that. I don't know, because I twisted on it just a little bit to try to twist the bracket around, and you can see it's already separating. So I'm already not happy with them. But we'll see how long it takes me to lose one of them. It's quite a bit of money to lose on something the first time it bumps up against. So we'll figure out how far it is, where the middle needs to be. I see you marked there already where the push up against it. So it looks like. Y'all see that? Unless my head's glaring. Just a 3/8 drill bit, drilling upside down. If you like drilling upside down, there's probably something wrong with it. And I'm not strong enough to hold it up there. What I was doing on the other one whenever I ripped the side off here. I was hanging onto it with my ratchet like that. And I took it and I twisted it and I ripped it off the bottom. I think this side's a little more cramped for some reason than the other side. The driver's side went a little smoother. I should really probably get some like sumo springs or something like that. That'd be a little taller, have a little more squish to them. And they may mount in here just fine, but they're a little more expensive. Of course, these were 60 something dollars. They were probably $70 by the time they were shipped to me. And I'm afraid they're not going to last at all. Square with the axle. All right, now let's jack it up and smush them and see what happens. All right, I believe both sides are touching the bump stop. This one is squished pretty good. It's clearing my brake brackets. If you see that or not. Let me keep going here. See what happens. Well, that's as far as my jack will go. Side here, it's pretty much collapsed all the way. It's clearing my brake bracket. It probably will not clear the coil spring, but you can see, maybe, you can see there's a space in between the bracket and the link now. And you can see it's pretty much squished. It's funny, but it squishes. And that's about 3 inches. This side is completely smushed. You see there's no spaces in between it, so that's what I expect it to look like, completely bumped. So it looks good. You can see there's a space in between the bracket and the link now. And you can see it's pretty much squished. It squishes funny, but it squishes. And that's about 3 inches. This side is completely smushed. You see there's no spaces in between it, so that's what I expect it to look like, completely bumped. So it looks good. So now all I gotta do is throw everything back together. I will put springs back underneath it, bolt the shocks up, throw tires on it. So I don't know if you've seen what I was doing there. So I actually had to angle the bump stops back, kind of at an angle with the frame. There was less than a finger's width of gap between the bump stop and the spring. But I had to do the same thing on this side. Everything's real close here on the Suburban. A lot closer than I like, but everything's got to fit in the same hole. All right, I'm gonna throw the wheels and tires on it, and I'll be done and ready to go fishing. Hey y'all, thanks for watching. I apologize for losing the beginning part of this video. I know it's gonna be a short one, but live and learn. I know better than try to do 2 videos at once now. So you can see maybe back here I have our next project is going to be Dynomax muffler and the pre-bent exhaust tubing. This is 3-inch tubing with a Dynomax. Right now I'm running 2.5-inch tubing with knockoff 40 series, so hopefully this will make it quieter and hopefully give it a little deeper tone if it's not quieter. Thanks for watching, y'all. I appreciate it. Again, please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks, y'all.